Yeah, just as a final point, the point I was making was that there's this general idea that if you're a manager and you can manage company X, then you can transfer into another industry, maybe similar, maybe not, and manage
Mm.
company Y. And I think this is completely wrong. Now, there will be some people who can do it successfully, for sure, because there always are. But I think it's a minority of people. And I would use the example of sport for this because I use sport for all my examples because everybody
Mm.
understands sport. Um, Michael Jordan was a famous basketball player, perhaps the most famous in the world. And he was perhaps the best basketball player in the world. And he retired and left basketball to go and play baseball, at which he was a complete failure. It's a complete failure. He wasn't the worst of the worst, but he wasn't good enough to be good. Yeah.
Mm.
Wasn't good enough to make a living or to be employed by any team. And so you can play basketball and be the best player in the world, and you can play baseball and be terrible and be the same person. And that's my example for business as well, where there's this idea that, oh, you managed this company, so you can also manage this company. A lot of companies are really their their success depends on the knowledge of the manager, not on their ability to manage, but on the the product, the market, and the people. And if you're moving to be a new manager in a new company, you very often don't have enough information about those things in
Mm.
order to be successful, especially the people. Because as I said earlier, it's the people that make the difference. And if you're a manager and you don't know the people really well that are working for you, under you, maybe doing harder work than you, and have been with the company for longer, then then you can't do your job properly. And um, I think there's a lot of that in business where the manager is not the right manager,
Mm.
simply because people think that if you can manage one thing, you can manage another, and it's a bit like human relationships. Every relationship is different, so it's not easy to. It's why methodology doesn't work a lot of the time. Um, if you learn this method, then everything will be okay. Yeah, well, it's okay for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 month until you realize that method is not you.
Mm.
It's just a method. Then it doesn't work anymore. Um, the people think methodology will save the world. No, it will only postpone the inevitable. What's going to happen is, to a certain extent, going to happen. Doesn't matter which method you use. So uh, there are, of course, examples that contradict that, as there always are. Um, okay, let's be future orientated and